Welcome to Top to Bottom Male Romance Podcast, where we celebrate all things male romance. I'm Jessica.
And I'm Markie.
And this is our January top episode, first episode of 2020.
Woohoo! 2020! Just like in all the other years previous, I do need to let you know we have reader groups. We have one on Goodreads and one on Facebook. You can jump in at any time and talk about our bottom pick for the month, good series that you'd like to recommend, anything related to MM romance or general silliness. You can jump in at any time and talk to us about it. We also have a Patreon. Our patrons get inside information on upcoming interviews that we have on the docket and get a chance to submit questions for said interview person. So if you haven't had a chance to check it out, make sure you do so.
And if you haven't done so yet, make sure you rate us on whatever it is you listen to us on. It helps other people find us too.
So welcome to 2020. Are you excited about this year, Jess?
Maybe.
Tentative yes.
Tentative yes. I'm a little nervous about this year. There's a lot of stuff that could potentially happen or not happen, and I don't know. I am excited about it. I'm nervous.
Yeah. I feel you on that. There's a lot of stuff on the horizon just within our personal lives that are cool and frightening and neat and scary. So 2020 might shake out to be a very interesting year for both of us. Also, side note real fast, I apologize if we hear any animal noises. I know we've apologized before for my big dog Rumble, but I have two little new additions to the household, so they might cause a ruckus, which I guess is a good segue into what the hell we've been up to. Also,
that was the funniest little humble brag.
I know.
Like, oh, I'm so sorry if you hear noises. I have two adorable kittens.
Yeah. So I adopted two kittens. It kind of going back for a second. I need to say sorry that I wasn't able to be in the last episode. Jess took the reins and did a great job for the super micro episode. Super sorry I couldn't be there. I had some real life stuff kind of kick the wind out from under me, but also a shining light within that is we adopted two little baby kittens, and I'll post a picture in the show notes so you can see why it's so important. They're just great. These two little brothers are just a couple months old, and their names are Jinx and Winks. Jinx is like a silver black kind of fuzzy cat, and then his brother Winks is a yellow tabby that was born with one eye, so it looks like he's always winking at you. And this is the first time in my adult life I've ever had cats. Like, my mom had a cat growing up, so I've been around cats. Not like they're alien creatures to me, but we've only ever had dogs in the house. Like, we always had two dogs. And then after Cassie passed away, we waited a couple months and we tried to adopt a dog. And we went through two fosters and ended up not working out. Either they didn't get along with Rumble or they hated Alex, my husband. So it's been an emotional roller coaster. So then we ended up, Alex actually found a foster in the area that does cats. Like, it was this very, very wonderful, mildly crazy cat lady. She's the sweetest person on earth, but she is like the cat lady. And we went and adopted these two guys. And it has been quite the 2 week. No, not even a week. Holy shit, they haven't even been in my house a week. It feels like it's been 2 weeks. It is not. It's been less than 1 week since they've been with us. And today was actually the first day that they officially met Rumble, which was hysterical. So it's been very busy and wonderful, lots of snuggles and lots of me not sleeping because they're on my face or meowing when I put them in the bathroom. So it's been great though. And you should go look at my cats because I love them.
Yeah, I cannot wait to come and meet my new fuzzy nephews. They are super adorable and I need to make sure
they will love you. And since they're still so little and impressionable, like, you can pick them up and they can't do anything about it. So it's lovely. Like, I pick them up constantly and I know that they tolerate it to a point, but I'll pick them up and kiss their little faces and I'm like, you can't escape, I'm much bigger than you.
See, and I don't know how I would handle it if they grew up to not like being picked up, because Kage, my kitty, will always, like, he's old and geriatric, but he's always been open to me picking him up and snuggling him and just treating him like my own personal teddy bear. So I really hope for you that at least one of them likes to snuggle.
I'm hoping they both really like being in my lap, and we have a routine at night. Yeah, right now they do as babies. And I've been around cats that were assholes. Like, most of the cats that I've met in my life have been total dicks. Kage being the only one. Kage is the only cat that I've met that was nice. Like, he's never been like a spazzy cat or one that runs and hides. Like, he's real chill and like will just sit in your lap and like you said, you hold him like a teddy bear. You can scratch his tummy. Like, it's ridiculous, right? So like that's the bar for how cats should behave, and nobody's cats are like that. Like, that's insane. So with these cats, like, they don't like their bellies touched. I already tried. But they don't mind if I touch their feet, and they like being on my lap. And if I can just keep them like that, it'll be fine. But I don't know. I think the only remedy is if I just keep doing it constantly and they're used to it, that they won't develop like a weird apprehension towards it. But I don't know. I could just be hoping, and I have no science to back it up.
I really hope that they stay
Me too.
sweet and snuggly for your sake, because it's the best thing in the world. And it's not just Kage. Kage is not the only sweet and snuggly one out there. I've seen pictures of other people's cats being awesome. I don't know if you can blow raspberries on their belly like I can with Kage, but without fear of death.
Yeah, that's a big asterisk next to that.
And I wouldn't let anybody else do that to him. I would probably murder them if they did that. But regardless, there's hope. There's hope. They will hopefully be sweet, personable kitties when they grow up.
Doing my best. I'm trying to be a good cat mom. And like, I've leaned 100% into being a cat mom. Like, all of my background pictures on my phones are my cats. I call them my sons. My dad thinks I'm insane. Alex has told me today I need to chill out, which means I'm going to amp it up more, because that's what marriage is about. And it's a good time, man. I'm having fun. I'm enjoying it. So I have been a touch preoccupied.
Well, no worries. I think everybody kind of had a big December, and we're back to start fresh from all angles, and we'll get ready to kick this year's ass, and you have new kitty minions to join you.
Exactly. They'll be my personal little mascots. World Domination Takeover 2020, starring Jinx and Winks.
Well, before we get into 2020, why don't we talk about, for our top segment, our top moments of 2019?
Yeah, I feel like everyone's going to know what ours are. But just for the sake of, fuck it, you're here for the ride, I would probably say my top moments of 2019 was definitely going to be GRL. That was probably the coolest thing I've done in a long time. I was going to say in my adult life, but I mean, I did get married and stuff. So maybe, and I have my nephew who was born, and things like that. So it is definitely on the top 5 of coolest things that I've done in my life, is going to GRL as an author, meeting readers who wanted to see me, who could have, stopped at any other table en route to talk to other people, but they stopped at mine and talked to me and got their book signed, and, getting to go out to eat with a reader and hang out with them and stuff. So, hi Shannon, love you. But it was really, really badass. And it kind of helped light a bigger fire under my ass to do bigger, better things. I consider myself a pretty ambitious person. Like, me and you both, Lucy and Ethel, when we get an idea, we do it. We go 100% in, and we talk about it for a second, and then we execute it. Like, we're ridiculous. But having been around my peers, seeing what everybody else is doing, meeting my readers, like, basically putting on my author pants and doing the thing. At this point now, I'm like, okay, I've got to be good enough moving forward to meet that bar every year. Like, I want to keep having readers who want to read my stuff and who are excited to meet me. And I want to be a good enough author to be among these peers and not feel like I'm out of place. Like, I'm like, yeah, I deserve to be next to Lucy Lennox or Sloane Kennedy or Charlie Cochet. I want to be able to really feel like I belong there. So that means I have to work really hard. I need to set good goals. I need to try to produce the best stories that I can, and kind of reach for the stars every time, instead of being like, oh, well, this book was, it was good, but I could do better. It's like, no, every book needs to be like gold. You know what I mean? Like, just that kind of stuff. So I'm going into 2020 because of GRL wanting to make 2020 like the best author year that I've had so far. Ta-da.
Well, that's awesome. I would also put GRL as one of my top moments for the year. I really, really love to travel, but I don't get a lot of opportunities to do it because traveling is expensive. And so, one, that was awesome. Taking that long-ass road trip with you was fan-fucking-tastic, and I would love to do it again. Meeting so many people that I've only spoken to online or through the podcast, getting Kurt Graves hugs, meeting Kelly Fox, who is now one of my favorite people on the planet.
Yes, same here, man. I love her.
Yeah, me too. Check her out. She's got a book coming out in January. Yeah, that was, I don't know, it was definitely awesome. Meeting Jeff and Will and Slade was really awesome, having that moment of podcast awesomeness going on at the same time. That was cool. Just so much about GRL was definitely one of the more sparkling moments of my year, so I would definitely put that at the top. In other things, it was just, I had a relatively good year overall, as far as being able to spend time with friends, and it may not have been my most productive year ever, but it was a happy year for the most part. So on the personal front. I know the whole world's on fire, but
Yeah, I was good. Yeah, I was just thinking. I was like, my year was okay. I mean, like I definitely had some big bumps. Like Cassie passed away, which was a really big one. I think if that hadn't happened, 2019 would have been like one of my best years. Like all this really good, positive stuff happened. Like going to GRL, meeting our peers and our friends, and doing the writer stuff, and I changed positions at work, and like you just get this cool, just cool personal shit.
Oh yeah, work was a bit of a dumpster fire, but
Yeah, work was rough. The day job was no joke. Some bumpy roads there.
It's really funny. The longer I think about the year, the less I think it was as happy as I am. I've got my rose-colored glasses on right now.
No, I think overall, like the broad strokes of the year was really good. We had some big snags though. Like there were definitely ones that were like, if it's a pretty picture, it's like some pretty hardcore smudges on the picture, but overall, it's still a pretty landscape. You know what I mean? So it wasn't bad. I'm hoping 2020 we don't have as many smudges and the picture is a little bit more bright, but I would say compared to some of the other years I've had in the past, this one was not bad.
Well, moving on from 2019, because like the more I'm starting to think
now
about
you're
it, the sadder I get. I'm making myself sad because I guess I did because I didn't write down. I didn't plan to talk about my tops. I was just like, oh yeah, it's great, and I'm like, well, wait a minute.
Actually, this happened and this happened.
2019 has happened. We are in 2020. Well, we're recording this in 2019, but when y'all hear it, it'll be 2020.
Mm-hmm.
So what do we do at the beginning of every year? Resolutions. So I went like I did last year. I went and listened to our resolutions episode from last year to see how we did. First, just mentioning, well, I'm going to talk shit about you.
I was about to say your hesitation is concerning me, and then you immediately say I'm going to talk shit about you.
Well, I stopped to look at my notes. Okay, both of us made resolutions.
Mm-hmm.
Very few of mine happened. Most of yours did happen. The podcast ones that we set, kind of not so much. So we'll start with that. We'll start with the podcast. We had made some resolutions for the podcast. One of the things that you said that you wanted to do was something that had to do with like streaming or having a Twitch live or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
We never did that. We didn't even try.
Well, you know what? We did try. I did make a Twitch channel, so it exists, which actually got hacked, which was funny. But so we have a channel, we just didn't do anything with it because I think my goal was I wanted us to try to play one of those like BL MM romance dating sim kind of games, and then found out that you can't play those on Twitch because they're very pornographic. I don't have a computer that would allow me to do that because I naively was like, oh, it's just like a screen sharing thing. And then I looked into it and was like, wow, I'm stupid. That is not how this works. So we don't have the computers for it. Well, actually, you have a gaming laptop, so maybe yours, but mine is not.
Yeah, so. Mine is set up for streaming. You didn't even talk to me about this. We didn't get far enough to even have the conversation.
Yeah, I think I poked at it, and then we had other things going on, so I kind of dropped it. So yeah, maybe we could try again this year? Question mark.
I don't know. Knowing what we're both about to put out for our resolutions, I don't know that there is going to be time for a lot of lofty goals, but we might see what happens.
Okay.
One of the other things that we said we wanted to do, which really kind of came to fruition in a cool way, you said that you wanted to do a month as having a comic or a manga as the bottom.
Oh, yeah.
Well, we did one better, and we created the Side Banana segment. So we do that along with watching shows and various things every single month. So we've added more than just having typical novels. We have added into the repertoire. We have something like that every single month. So we did that. Mm-hmm. The third thing that we said was have a sci-fi pick. Guess what we didn't do?
A sci-fi pick.
Yeah. So we need to look into that. I think that we can poke around in the queer sci-fi group that's on Facebook and find some pretty awesome picks, and we'll go from there.
Absolutely.
So that was what we picked for the podcast last year. I think that this year for the podcast, I think we need new microphones.
Yeah, we do. And mics are expensive. And I know that Jess, you asked for one every Christmas and don't get it.
Yeah. I mean, I could just spend my own money on it, but I'm not doing that.
Same. Every time I'm like, okay, I'll just set some money aside because we can catch deals and stuff like that. Just always seems like something makes it not happen. So, because
just as a reminder, there's a link to our Patreon in our website.
Yeah, there you go.
If you guys want to hear better sound quality, Patreon is a great way to help support that.
For sure. I need to set up like a coffee thing too. So if you don't want to do like a monthly thing, maybe we could just be like, hey, tip jar.
Nice,
But
yeah.
something like that.
Maybe. So, where I was going to give you shit before is that last year, and then again this morning when we were talking about this, you were really hesitant to make a resolution that you weren't sure you were going to be able to keep, which I feel is against the purpose of a resolution. You should be striving towards something that is either out of your comfort zone or something that you have to purposefully do, and it's something that will enrich your life one way or another, even if it's at the smallest level. Like I remember when you had the goal 2 years ago to ride a motorcycle and to try Korean food. You did both of those things. Those are little things. You had to go out of your way to do them, but you made them happen. And in the end, I give you shit because one of the things you said, well, I might say, I should get a treadmill or something, but that's not going to happen. Well, guess what happened? Guess what bitch got a treadmill this year?
Yeah, I don't use it. But I do have it.
But you have it.
Very true.
So to kind of round out the things that you said last year, yeah, you said, you laughed about getting a treadmill, but you did get it. You said you wanted to go to at least one signing event as an author. You did 2.
Yes. Thank you. I did.
You wanted to do a collaboration in writing. I feel mildly responsible for that one not happening. Or did you? Did you do something I didn't pay attention to?
No, I haven't. I've been bugging some people that I really want to work with. Like, it's tough because I don't want them to get annoyed with me, but I super want to work with a couple authors that I really like. So I keep like jokingly like jabbing at them, like, it'd be cool if we did this. And they're like, yeah, we should. I'm like, yeah. And then like nothing ever happens. So then like later I circle back around. I'm like, haha, so we gonna do this? It was like, just, I really want to, because I feel like it would be so much fun to build something with somebody, especially somebody who I like their work and they are fun people that I get along with. So I feel like we could work together well. You know what I mean? So I might just have to message them after this and be like, okay, look, 2020, we're doing this. You win or out. So we'll see.
Right. Because isn't that one of yours for this year as well?
What, doing a collab? Yeah. Since I wasn't able to do it last year, I'm going to be a little bit more pushy about it this year and see if I can make it work. It's just one of those things that I want to cross off my bucket list. So it's either going to be a project that I really like and I think it's super cool, or I'm going to be like, wow, that was a fucking nightmare, and like never do it again. So hopefully it's the first one and I can do more.
Well, and you did kind of do some, like, maybe not writing collaborations, but you were part of a couple of, maybe not anthologies, but like group projects. Yeah. And you even had your own Halloween group project that you set up, where you had several people submitting stories for prolific work. So you may not have done a writing with somebody collaboration, but you did have creative collaboration.
Yeah.
So that's, I would say that I would still say that's a pass.
Cool. All right. I'll take it. I didn't really lump those into the same thing, but it was a creative collaboration. Like during GRO, when we did the Mad Libs thing, like that took a lot of creativity for all of us to pull in and come up with this idea and stuff. And I had the benefit of working with a group who were brilliant and worked well together, and I had a really good time doing it. So yeah, I guess that counts. I will take my gold star.
Yeah. Okay, and then the other personal one before I get into your book ones was to write 3 books.
Did I write 3 books?
You wrote 2.5.
Son of a bitch. It's close.
Because I think, well, no. Okay, so you wrote this year, Suspects and Scales came out, and Rocks and Railways. You also had Mimics and Mayhem, and you're halfway through your next one.
Yeah, so, I mean...
And I know Mimics and Mayhem is a novella, so I think you're good there.
2.5, because, like, I count Scarlett's book as, like, 4.5, because it's definitely about a half as big as the other books. So, we'll say 2.5. So, there you go. So, I wonder if I could do 3 this year.
Okay, well, I bet you could. So for your personal ones this year, before I move on to me, what are your 2020 personal resolutions?
Write a collab. No, that one will carry over. But something I really want to do, and it's lofty, and I hope it works. We kind of talked about it earlier today when you were asking me, like, what's a good personal one? How did you phrase it? Because that's what made me think of it. You're like, what is something that you want in life that you have to push yourself for it to happen, or something like that? And I was like, something that I've really wanted, and I talked about putting it together with Kelly Fox, actually, was a Texas LGBTQ plus authors group. Texas is a huge state with a lot of LGBTQ authors. Like, there's a whole slew of them that go to GRL every year that I meet, like Jackie James and J.R. Gray and and a bunch of other ones. Those are the two ones I can think of immediately because I just were talking to them, so that's why they're on the forefront of my mind. But I can't believe that this whole state we don't have something like that, or if we do, it's not easy to find, and I can't find it. So something I want to put together this year is that exact thing. I assume we'll probably do different branches because Texas is huge. So I want to put together like a Dallas area one, since that's what we're close to. And then Kelly Fox is thinking about doing one in Austin because she's down there with her wife. So that's the thing I want to start. And I think at the early January 2020, I'm going to try to start with something real simple, like a coffee meetup, and see how many people come, see if we can build up interest, and then hopefully expand it into a big actual group, kind of like what Scott Coatsworth does in California. He's got he's got a group that he started off as like just a coffee meetup, shoot the shit with some authors, get to know them, and blah blah blah. Now it's this big thing that they go to readings, and they've got like a mentorship thing that they do, and it's fantastic. I was like, we could have that. Why doesn't Texas have that? So that's going to be my big project for 2020 that I want to start, and I'm kind of forcing myself to go ahead and start it so I don't just like, I'll do it next week and then never get to it, because it's kind of scary, and I don't really know what I'm doing, and I'm lucky that I have some people I can tap on the shoulder and get some advice. And I have Kelly, who's going to be like, she's totally 100% on board, and she's going to be doing it on her end, so we can kind of talk about like what's working. And I assume you're totally roped in because this is how this shit works. So yeah, that's what I'm going to start with 2020 is putting that together.
That's awesome. I think that's a really, really awesome resolution.
Thank you.
And I am here for it as much as I can be.
Yes. Well, it's like I said, it's lofty. So hopefully it's just going to be a once a month thing, and then we'll kind of go from there. So not terribly hard.
Logistically, I think I can help you out with logistic stuff. I feel a little out of place because I'm not an author, and I don't know that I feel really super part of the group that way, but I'm good at organizing things.
Well, you're my editor. Like, you're part of the creative process. So I would say
yes,
that counts.
I am your life editor. Some people have life coaches. Yes, I'm your life editor.
Exactly.
I edit your books, I edit your podcast, and I edit your life. So it's fine.
Yes, exactly. So you need to be there to edit this meeting because I need help.
Oh, I think that's my new job title, life editor.
I love it.
All right. Anyways, okay, so that's your 2020 personal resolutions, yeah?
Yes.
Okay, so enough about you. Let's talk about me.
Yes. So what do you want to do in 2020, Jess?
Well, let's talk about my failings of last year.
Let's talk about why I suck.
Yeah. So all three of my resolutions, of my personal resolutions, before we get into. Oh, actually, no. I had 4, and one of them happened. All right, because it's at the bottom of the list underneath my book stuff. Let's talk about the one I did right. I wanted to go to GRL. I went to GRL. Whee! So, because I was afraid, I wasn't sure that I was going to be able to make the money happen, but I did, and we made it. So yay. Let's talk about now the things that didn't happen. I really wanted to do a lot more writing, and that was, I don't want to call it my biggest failure, but it was a real big disappointment to kind of realize that I don't, at least right now, have it in me. I had several false starts. I tried my damnedest to do nano. We talked about that recently. Mm-hmm. But I think accepting the fact that I'm not at a place where that's what I can do right now or want to do. Like, I have so little free time, and that's not what I choose to do right now. And that was kind of almost relieving to notice, rather than just to constantly give myself shit after spending a whole lot of money on a logo and a website and all sorts of shit. But, whatever. It's not lost. I might do something with that still. I did, through that, I kind of came to one of my resolutions for this year in my discovery of realizing that writing prose and fiction is not what my brain wants to do right now. I did some journaling, and I've done journaling kind of my whole life, but in my adult life, it's been like, once or twice a year, check-ins and stuff, just when I need to vomit these thoughts out of my brain and put them down somewhere. So I probably have like 2 to 3 journal entries a year since I've been an adult, somewhere in my Google Docs and or various other places. But I want to probably do more of that because it's a lot of really great self-reflection, and it kind of helps reshape my thought patterns and where I'm at and kind of gives me the confidence to and the courage, I think, to try different things and grow or whatever. So yeah, through my failure, I will create a new resolution and try to do that. The other two things were cooking and baking related. So one of them, I wanted to make Instagram worthy cakes. I made 2 decorative cakes this year, and they were pretty for somebody who doesn't know what the fuck that they're doing. But they were not. They did not end up online, or you guys would have seen them. So I'm still working on that. It's not a failure, though. I did try, but I didn't try as much as I wanted, because making cakes is, you have to then have people to eat the cake. That's not always something that I have available. And I said I wanted to cook something new. And I know I've cooked some new things, but I don't think that I cooked anything like exceptionally challenging. Like, I made risotto a couple times this year, which is a pain in the ass, but it's not challenging. I don't know. I don't really think I did anything super big there. But both of those continue into this year. I want to continue improving my baking skills and my cooking skills. So those are transferring. So the new personal one for me is the journaling thing. I have another like really big project that I'm working on, but it's not really something that I'm ready to share. But as I get further into it, I might be a little bit more open to that. If you follow my personal Facebook, if you're friends with me on there, you'll probably see some stuff popping up probably midway through the year once I get a little bit more into it, or my Instagram. And that'll actually probably be, if you want to kind of keep up with that, that'll probably be where it ends up. So, but yeah, mum's the word on that. I'm not really ready to talk about it, but I have something big on the horizon that I am hoping that happens.
It's very exciting.
Yeah. So books, we had book goals.
Yes.
So you chose 3 authors that you wanted to make sure you read, and you said you would absolutely read all 3 of these. Do you want to know how well you did?
I didn't do any, I bet.
You did 1 of 3.
Hey, 1 of 3.
Yeah, you said Haley Turner, E.A. Via, and Nora Phoenix. We did Haley Turner as one of our bottom picks this year, so cheated.
Yes.
I say that, but the 2 out of my 3 that I did were also book picks for us, so...
God, we're so bad at this.
No, this is what resolutions are. We try to strive towards them, and a lot of times they just don't work out. So,
well, and I think we're going to do something a little bit different for the book resolutions for 2020. Since I do so great at reading the authors that I say I'm going to read, instead of picking authors, I'm just going to pick subgenres and stuff like that I want to try to go for, because I'll probably end up hitting those. The future you is laughing at me. Yeah, so instead of picking out authors I want to read, I, for realsies, definitely want to read a sci-fi, even though I said that last year. Haha, but for real. And I also want to read a harem, an MM harem, because I don't think I've done one yet, and I want to. So those are my 2 book goals for 2020 is sci-fi and harem. Maybe I can find one that does both, and I'll nail it in one go.
Well, I don't know one that does both. I mean, one, you can always, again, check out the Queer Sci-Fi group on Facebook, but the sci-fi that I read last year was Gail Carriger's Fifth Gender. Mm-hmm. And if you do the audio, it's Michael Leslie.
Nice.
So awesome stuff. So that's a good one. It's a mystery, and it's super fun. So you might check that out. My book goal for this year is to find as much horror in MM as I can. While we were at GRL, amusingly, right before I had an opportunity to meet her, I discovered B.L. Maxwell. On Facebook, I was like scrolling and I was like, ooh, that looks like a spooky cover. What the fuck is that? Then suddenly was like, holy shit, she writes ghost stories that are MM. So her author lounge was the very next day, and found her and just like exploded my excitement all over her, and then I bought all of her ghost stories. So I have physical books, and I started one when I was there in New Mexico, but everything in the world has happened, so I haven't had a chance to get into it yet. So I really enjoyed the beginning of the first one that I read. It's her Valley Ghost series. I was starting the first one, super cute, really fun, already has some spooky moments, and I'm not very far into it. So I know that I've got her books, and I think Morgan Bryce has some kind of spooky-ish books, and I'm just really on the search to find as many of them as possible. I want horrors, one of my favorite things. And it's really hard to make a horror love story in the typical MM tropes, I guess.
Right.
So yeah. So that's my book related one, is to seek out all of the horror and read it.
Nice. It's a good goal. I like it.
Yeah. So yeah, I think that wraps it up for resolutions. Yeah.
Yeah, I would say so. We got a lot to do in 2020.
Yes, indeed. Well, now that that's all wrapped up, I think we have bananas and bottoms to talk about.
We do have bananas and bottoms to talk about, starting with our fresh banana. So there's a new author that debuted very recently named Dan Waters. He actually writes a sci-fi MM. What? Plays right into what we were talking about. So his debut book is In His Service. And it's a sci-fi MM with a trans lead, which is cool. We haven't read an MM romance with a trans lead, which is excellent. So definitely worth checking out. But the blurb of it is immediately interesting. So basically, because it's sci-fi, so there's aliens. One of the main characters is rejected his noble title to serve his community as an investigator, and he starts investigating a string of murders where the victims are slaves. He's taken the lead on the case, and he's trying to figure out what's going on. And then the human named Carter is from an ex-Earth colony named Terra, and he gets placed under house arrest after breaking into the royal palace on the alien planet that he ends up on. And so he has a chance to get a full pardon for his crimes if he helps with the investigation of the murders, but he has to go in as a slave and like basically be like an undercover slave situation to try to figure out like who's taking down these people. And it just sounds really interesting. The tag and themes for this are BDSM, sci-fi, mystery, suspense, trans male lead, alien lover, and lots of Kit Kat bars. So yeah, there's a lot of amazing things to this. And like I said, the blurb, like I read it and was just like, this sounds so fucking fun. Like it sounds excellent, and I'm into it. And like I said, it's called In His Service. I'll make sure that the link is in the show notes so you guys can check it out, as well as Dan's website and any social stuff that I can find. So definitely worth checking out. It is a good fresh banana for 2020.
Exciting.
Yeah.
So our side banana kind of ties in thematically, at least with our bottom pick, right?
Kind of. Like we were trying to find something that fits, and then I kind of just was like, I want to read this. So kind of on theme, but then more kind of on a Maz theme. So whoops. So we're going to be reading the webcomic Hotblood, which is a Western set in the United States in like the 1870s that is about a centaur. So it's Centaur in the Wild West. Kind of awesome. And it's actually been around since 2016, I think. Yeah, like 2016.
2013.
13. Just kidding. 2013. So it's been around for a hot minute. And it's actually like right after I published Heartaches and Hoofbeats, I was reaching out to Jen Fowler, who does my chippies, and she was like, have you read Hotblood? I was like, I don't know what this is. And she sent it to me, and I was like, oh my God, like, how did I not know this existed? This is amazing. So it's been on my to-read thing forever. And since our bottom pick is kind of cowboy-y, we were looking into it, and we found that, and I was like, fuck it, let's just make this a side banana, because I've been wanting to read it forever. So Hotblood, check it out. I'll make sure the link is in the show notes so you guys can read along. I am very excited.
Me too. So one of my favorite people that we met at GRL that I wish I had gotten more time to spend time with, but I'm glad for the moments we had, is the author of our bottom pick.
Yes, Madam Jackie North, who is probably the sweetest person on the planet, and I got to meet her 2 GRLs ago. Yes, yeah, it was 2 GRLs ago, and she was standing in the elevator with me, and at this point we'd been talking online for a little bit, and she's already just like a shining, wonderful person. So I had read her book, Heroes for Ghosts, a couple years back, and it's the story about the historian who falls in love with the World War I soldier, and it's a time travel romance, in case you have not listened to that episode. It's a time travel romance that I really, really enjoyed, and I think I actually read it for one of our summer reading things. So I met Jackie, and she's one of those people that is immediately like very sweet and loving, and like gave me a hug immediately. Like she's just super great. So we are reading the Love Across Time 2, Honey from the Lion, which is in the same series as Heroes for Ghosts. But they're all standalone, so you don't have to read them in order, which is lovely. And this is fun because it actually has one of the tropes that I don't get to read often, but I really like, which is the trapped in a snowy cabin trope, which is totally a fucking thing. Yes. And I love it. But basically, Laurie is a corporate dude who's tired of the corporate life. And so he takes a much needed vacation into a dude ranch. And so a blizzard rolls through, and he kind of gets stuck with somebody. I don't know how it happens yet, but somebody from 1891 named John, who is gruff and only wants to be left alone. But since he's a very honor-bound guy, he takes Laurie in because he doesn't want the guy to like freeze to death or whatever. And so they end up being kind of snowed in together, and it's this fantastic thing. The blurb is fantastic, very long, so I won't read it all, so you have to endure that. But the very end, it's male time travel romance, complete with hurt comfort, true confessions, a shared bed, fireplace kisses, the angst of separation, and true love across time.
Nice.
Yeah. Yes, exciting. It's paranormal, and I'm happy, and it's good. So Jackie actually won the Rainbow Awards for this book. For 2018, she won first place in paranormal. We're very excited to read the first place winner. And yeah.
That's really cool, because I remember ages ago, Jackie was a fresh banana for us.
She was. And she came out the gate running. Like, she's immediately, like, just took front and center with her writing because it's fantastic and legit. I understand how she won first place. Like, she's great. So this is gonna be fun. I'm really looking forward to it. And Jackie is lovely, and you should go check her out.
Yeah, I really recommend actually looking through her Facebook through October, because when she was at GRL, she posted so many, pictures of authors saying, "Hey, this is what's really awesome about this author's work," and like let you know where to start with them. Like, she did basically what I really wanted to do with our micro interviews. She did a much better job of it than I did.
She did do a great job. I mean, and she's such a busy bee, man. She was like floating from table to table and getting pictures and asking great questions. Like, she came to my table and was talking to me about, like, what book should people start with, and like, let's get a picture together, and just all this stuff. Like, she nailed it. Like, she's one of those authors that not only is good at what she does and is a great author with great stories, but she's really good about helping the community and giving authors platforms, and is just a good person. So of course we want to read her shit. Like, she's great. So yeah. So if you guys want to read along, again, in the show notes, there'll be links to go snag the book, and I'll have all the details in there. So you should definitely read along. It's a good way to start 2020.
Yes, I'm very excited. All right. Well, I don't know. I think we've got a really good kickoff for 2020. What about you?
Yeah, I think so. This is going to be a fun year. We got a lot of good projects. We got a good book to read. We got Centaur comics to check out. There's a lot going on.
Absolutely. I guess everybody have an awesome January, and check out our fresh and side bananas and our bottom pick from the lovely Jackie North. And we will see you at the bottom of the month.
Yes. Until next time.
Bye. Top to Bottom Podcast is a part of the Frolic Podcast Network. Find more podcasts you'll love at frolic.media/podcasts.